Hey, welcome friends. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to a brand new week here. We made it to another week and glad you tuned in. Thought we'd try something different for tonight because that's what this time's all about, being creative and just trying to find things to make days feel different and try some new fresh stuff. So thought we'd try a little live Q&A time tonight. Rather than me decide the topic, you can decide it. And would love to just hear your questions if you're watching this afterwards on replay. Hopefully it's some good, fun, interesting questions for you to listen into. But yeah, really you can, we're welcome to ask questions about really anything. It doesn't just have to be church stuff, Bible stuff, although if you have any questions on that, I don't have all the answers, but I have a few and I'll try to help. So you could share, any questions about just anything going on in the world. I'm not an expert, so don't ask me a bunch of health stuff because I wouldn't know. But yeah, anything just about, whatever, sports, music, entertainment, the world, anything Bible, faith, God, anything just on your mind. They can be funny questions, serious ones. Just, keep them clean. It's a family show. Not political because, come on. We're all burnt out on political stuff on social media, so you don't need more of that anyway. But, just would love to hear what you got. And if you got nothing, then I just get to make up stuff and probably rap. No, just kidding. But, yeah, would love to help just see what your questions are. So I'm going to figure out how to be able to view them on my computer while I film this on the phone. By the way, when it comes to our faith, just we're allowed to have questions. I like to tell people that faith and doubt aren't opposites, that they can actually coexist. And as someone who, I'm a very logical guy, I like to have clear, straight, practical answers to everything. I've also actually learned to be comfortable with some mystery in my faith. I think it's okay to have mystery in our faith as well as engage with our faith intellectually. So it's kind of this whole balance. If you're someone who just wants lots of scientific proof and different things around your faith, there's a level of definitely engaging with that. You can dig into historians and archaeologists, a lot of that kind of stuff. And then there's a level of having faith and having mystery. So I think it's a good kind of balance of all of that. So I encourage you to to do both of that. Hey, first question in. Thanks, Brian. First OB restaurant or concert you'll go to after the lockdown's lifted. Oh, man. So many OB restaurants I'm craving. I know a lot of them are doing to go, so that's good. But nothing like just sitting in there. I'm thinking maybe OB Surf Lodge or Wonderland because just love the view. Just want to sit there in the sun with my wife or with some friends or both and be able to just look out at the ocean and see all the people everywhere and just enjoy some food and drink. So I'm thinking that maybe Wonderland or Surf Lodge. Good question. First concert, man, one of the things I'm sad about, I've waited all 6 years I've lived here in San Diego to see Pearl Jam. My favorite band. They're finally coming, but it's canceled now. It's going to be the day after Easter, too. Always a busy weekend for me, and I'm like, perfect way to celebrate. I'm going to go see Pearl Jam at San Diego State, and now postponed, hopefully, in the fall. So I don't know, first concert, but I'm hoping people do some. Sorry about that. I'm hoping people will do some concerts so that I can watch them. So, yeah. Hey, welcome, Trish and Luca, Jerry. Good to see you guys. Good to see everybody on here. I hope these have been helpful this week since it's Holy Week. I'm going to do some stuff on the other nights that are really some great stories just about Jesus, maybe some things that you didn't know about him, and just some ways that he gets kind of misunderstood. So I love to share stories about that. But any questions, you're welcome to just type them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Just don't try to stump me. No, just kidding. I love to just kind of share thoughts. Have people email me some different questions about the sermons and some different stuff, and I love it. It's been really good, smart kind of questions, and I love just seeing people kind of engage. So you are, you're welcome to ask anything. Here's a great question. Trish watched Passion of the Christ again. How do you feel about that movie? Man, good question. This is the time of year, right? Easter week to watch that movie. I remember it was interesting in Christian circles. There are some very conservative Christians who would say to never watch a rated R movie. And then that movie was rated R. So it was interesting to watch people kind of making an exception. And I'll be honest, I love movies that try to portray Jesus. I like all the different ones they've made. I even like ones that have Russell Crowe about Noah, and watch ones like Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty and all these. And here's why. I know none of them are 100% theologically accurate, right? And in fact, some of you would say, yeah, some of them are about 5% accurate. Here's the thing, though. I love watching other people trying to interpret kind of what they read. I'm a visual guy, so I love the visual of it. I think one of the couple ways that those movies can be helpful to us in our faith, even if they're not entirely biblically accurate, one is it actually drives you to the Bible. So I watched, I was going, wait a minute, is that in there? Was that in there? And it drives me to want to go look it up and research or find it out for myself. So I learn something every time, even when it's wrong on screen. The other is the visual of it. It's one thing to read it, but to really see it. Passion of the Christ does that so well. Hard to watch, probably not one to really have the kids in the room, till a certain age. But, it helps me to never start to just kind of take for granted, right? I mean, if you hang around church at all, you start talking about Jesus died on the cross, and it just kind of almost becomes cliche. And just to really get the picture of what a huge sacrifice that was and how serious it was is something that's important. So I think if a movie helps us do that, then I think it's powerful. I think the ways movies try to portray Satan and kind of tempting and evil, and that movie does a good job of trying to show some of that. So I like those movies because they make me think. They make me kind of explore my faith further and kind of add some visuals to it. So in that sense, it's powerful. And yeah, I agree, Trish. It's a heartbreaking, it's an emotional movie. And I think we got to be careful with those things, especially as we head into like Good Friday this week. Is again, it's about trying to find this balance of really want to understand the depth of the sacrifice that Jesus made. Otherwise, His grace is cheap, right? It's cheap, and then we just kind of blow it off. But when we really understand the depth of it, then we have to make sure we land in a place where we're not just so overwhelmed that we kind of can't get back up, but where we're just really standing in awe of His grace. Maybe that song Amazing Grace takes on more meaning in that. There's a great book, Philip Yancey, called What's So Amazing About Grace, and I recommend that one. But about that idea of, how do I really not take grace for granted and just see it as this powerful thing that it is. So any movies or shows that help us do that is definitely cool and worth it. Let me see any other questions. But yeah, so I think, as we head into Holy Week, and we'll talk some on Good Friday, which we're going to have a service, by the way, and you'll see all the pastors on there. I'm actually going to walk people through taking communion at home, just as heads up, if you want to get yourself some bread and whatever you'd like to drink during your communion time, because I think it's going to be powerful. But yeah, just like with any time we do communion or reflecting on our own sin, it's not about just beating ourselves up. It's not about having low self-esteem, but it's about understanding, the depths of my own brokenness, and that, Jesus really would go through anything for that, and then how much that I need His grace. Otherwise, it's easy to just kind of say, well, everybody's basically a pretty good person. Come on, most of us don't do that many bad things. And then, we sort of lose the point of the gospel. So that would be my thought on that. Yeah. There's another new Christian movie that's supposed to be in theaters, because those always come out at Easter time. This one went straight to streaming, so you can watch it. I have not watched it yet. I don't know the story, but it's called I Still Believe, I think. Jeremy Camp, he's a Christian worship artist. So if you want to watch that movie, check it out. Tell the rest of us how it is, but it could be powerful. All right. Great question. Thanks, Rosanna. What do you think Jesus would tell us during this crisis? Man, that's a good one. That's good. Remember, I'm not Jesus, so don't go around telling people, oh, Carter, like he talked to Jesus and he knows exactly what it is. All right. So, but yeah, as I pray and do my best to listen to God, and I'm imperfect like you, and I don't know that I always get it right. But yeah, I've asked God a lot, hey, what do you want me to hear? What do you want us to know? So I guess a couple of thoughts. One would be that I think Jesus will want us to know, first of all, there's hope. There's going to be an end. Things feel I tell people this all the time, things feel so long while you're in the middle of it. But you'll be able to look back. It doesn't mean that pain's less, but it gives us hope. Man, when I was unemployed, it felt like forever, so long. I never thought I'd get to the end of it. Now I would tell you it was about 4 months, and you'd be like, oh, that's not that bad. But when you're in it, it's hard, right? Kind of like 9 months of being pregnant, I can imagine. I have not done it. But especially those last few weeks, as my wife told me, drags on a long time. So there's hope. Jesus would say this is just kind of a blip. This isn't the end of the story. So I believe he'd say, hey, I want you to run more to me. Just have deeper and deeper dependence on him. And as with always, I think anything we go through, right? Whether it's we're grieving loss of a loved one, we lose a job, we're going through sickness, all sorts of stuff. Whatever I'm in, it's about asking, all right, God, what do you have for me while I'm here? What do you want to teach me about you? What do you want to teach me about me? And how do you want to use me for your mission in this world? And so as we go through this crisis, what do I learn about God while I'm in this? What do I learn about me? And how does God want to use me where I'm at? And we're trying to do that a lot as a church, and I've seen some stories from some of you letting God kind of use you in ways like that. So that's what I think he wants us to hear. And of course, he always values staying connected to other people. So I think he'd say, hey, keep doing that because I designed you to that's why we all miss each other so much. By the way, it speaks to the very image of God that he put in you, because here's your mind-blowing thought for the night. God himself exists in perfect community as the Trinity. And so he designed us to exist in relationships as well. And so anytime you feel that longing, you miss other people, you say, thanks, God, I know you put this in me. And so I think he'd encourage us to do that. Great question. That's my thoughts for now. Thanks, Jacqueline. Really good question. What is the best way to remember to turn things over to God instead of trying to control them? Man, that is so hard. I don't have a great trick that works every time. There's a great verse from Apostle Paul. That's escaping me exactly where it's at right now. I apologize. And he says in one of his letters, he says, take every thought captive and turn it over to God. And that's about one of the most practical ones I've seen. Take every thought captive. So I think part of it is when I feel like trying to control something, it's the take that thought and bring it to God. So it's a lot of just pausing in prayer. Apostle Paul also writes in, I'm not going to try to remember either, but he also writes about pray without ceasing, so just kind of praying all day long. And I don't think that means like I always have my eyes closed all day long. It means I'm just in conversation with God all throughout the day. And so I think all throughout the day when you're tempted to control something, bring it to God, say, God, I give this to you. I give it to you. What do you want for this? The other trick is memorizing certain verses and promises out of the Bible. So when this thought comes to my mind, I can quote that, say, no, this is what's true instead. This is what's true instead. So that's what I've tried to do, is just kind of memorize some of those things. That's why we memorize the Bible, not to beat people over the head with it or show off. It's so we have it as our own kind of tools as we go through it. And so that would be my other kind of trick on that is whenever we're tempted to take control. And I think just even while we're still owning things, still controlling them somewhat, it's just constantly praying to God while we do it. Hey, God, take this. I often, if I don't know if he wants me to do something or not, I'll move forward and say, hey, God, just show me, like slam the door shut if I'm not meant to be doing this, or fling the door open, give me signs of kind of confirmation to keep doing it. So that would be the other way to kind of walk through it kind of as you go. But that's a great question. It's hard to try to control. I think here's a great prayer you can use. Because I know, like, when I was unemployed before I landed here at New Break OB, there's only so much I can control and the rest that I couldn't. So every day I'd pray, okay, guys, show me what my part is and you do your part. And show me my part. Get to the end of the day. Guys, is there anything I miss? Is there any more I should be doing, right? More places I should be applying. If you're in sales, as some of you are, is there any more I should have done today? Just show me what it is, God. And for the rest of it, help me to just really let go, trust you, have a peace in that. And I think that's the other key. And I agree, great comment on there. An attitude of gratitude helps us turn things over to God. So true. Man, it's been so easy in this time for me to just think about the things that I don't have right now and don't get to do right now. And then I feel silly, and then I try to feel repentant, and then I come to God and say, God, I thank you for things I do have, because I'm so grateful that my whole family is healthy, and really everyone I know so far at the church and even personally in other ways is healthy and still having a home and different things. So yeah, attitude of gratitude is huge. Great question. Thanks. A couple minutes left. If there's any other questions, you guys asked good stuff. Hope it was helpful. Yeah, it's all about just having the right perspective when we get in these times. And I did devotion on that last week that you can look up. But as far as perspective, I don't know the trick to get it. I just keep praying for it. I just keep saying, God, help me to see things the way that you do. And even though my puny brain won't ever fully comprehend what all God's up to, I'm like, help me at least see a little bit of the plan of what you're doing. I've also started praying recently, hey, Holy Spirit, inspire me with some creativity, because I think we need that. I can start to kind of shut down because I feel so stuck about things, and it helps to just pray, guys, give me creativity at home with the kids or at work. All right, one other question here. Heard a lot of people talking about how this is the end days playing out. What are your thoughts on that? Ooh, the end times. Man, you asked me the one question that I really never like to talk about. Never covered in life groups or anything. In the end times, is this the end times? Man, tough question. I know this for centuries. People have always claimed that the end times are coming, whether it's because an earthquake or it hits a certain year on the calendar, or we see big events like this. I honestly, this is just my approach. I'm not saying it's the only approach, even the best one. But for me, I try to not use all my energy trying to figure out if this is the last days, because really I should be living how God calls me to live regardless. And so this may be, it may not be. God says it'll come when we don't expect it. And so, what do you do with that? There's just so many different verses about it. I wonder if part of why God didn't make it 100% clear is because we just didn't need to know 100% for sure. And so I just try to focus more on, all right, God, what are you doing in this time? And what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about it? Because I want to make the most of my time either way. So I don't mean to blow off that question because it's a great question. I'm just saying that's just kind of the approach that I do, because you can get pretty lost or spiral pretty fast just kind of trying to dig into all of that. So sorry, one other question, because I don't like to leave people hanging. When you're low, what's your go-to level set back to God or positivity? What's the first thing you do if you feel depressed? Let's cover that one real quick, because that's important. That's a lot of us. So thanks for being honest with that. It's all about, I love this phrase, you got to find what's life-giving for you, not just what's restful. I mean, I can lay on the couch and flip on the TV and zone out, and that might rest my brain, but it's not life-giving. And so you actually have to work to figure out what are life-giving things for you. That's harder in this time. My life-giving things I don't get to do anymore. I don't get to go play beach volleyball, go to concerts and movies, and go hang out with friends. So I've really had to work to find new life-giving. And life-giving for you might mean just putting on really good music. I'm a vinyl fan myself, so doing that. Might mean just cooking a meal, getting to eat it. Might be someone that when you talk to them, you just feel better afterwards. So you know what? Give them a phone call, a FaceTime, a text, a Facebook message, an email, anything. I'm here to try to help do that for people. So you can reach out to me. But people that you just feel better after you've talked to them. For some, might be just putting on worship music, watching a comedy special. Just kind of finding a hobby, the activity, of course, turn into the Bible. So it's about finding what are the things that are life-giving. I think the other is back to that attitude of gratitude, just really not just what you have right now, but even start to reflect back You see a lot in the Psalms about, I remember when I used to be in the council of the great assembly, and I remember marching and singing these songs. And so, just remember, when's the time God was faithful and that you just had a lot of joy and saw him at work. And then you can spend time reflecting and being thankful for that, and then asking God, give me one of those times again, bring that back soon. And so I think that'd be the other kind of tip in that and suggestion. Here's a great suggestion. Definitely read through the comments, everyone, after this if you get a chance. But yeah, writing down kind of 3 things you're thankful for every day. I love that. That's huge. And really working hard to look for, where are the wins? Where do I see God showing up? If you follow me on social media and stuff, I try to share God stories a lot. God's actually just trained my mind to notice that stuff, so I really have to look for it and work at it. But that's all what helps with perspective. And I think just going to God and say, God, I'm depressed right now, God. I don't see any hope. I'm sick of this. It's frustrating the heck out of me. I need some positivity from you. And you just go to that and ask him. It just feels so good to get to vent and pour out kind of our heart, pour out our guts, as I like to say, to God, and then just listen to what he says. And turn and start reading some of the book of Psalms and some of that, and just kind of let him speak to you through that. So hope that was helpful. Thank you guys for great questions. I'll do this again as open Q&A here in the next couple weeks. But hope it was helpful to you. If I didn't get to your question, hey, just email me or Facebook me. I'll get to it in the next couple days. Tune in this week. I'm excited to tell you some really cool stories about Jesus and what that means for us. And hey, I'm praying for you guys. You got this, all right? You got this. We are going to be back together, and it's going to be a really cool time of celebrating. So hang in there. God bless. Love you guys.